All right, hello, good morning, everyone. This is Rene Liaw here from MLM Unbiased, and today I've been meaning to do this video for such a long time. It's such a heated discussion and a big topic that's often confused by many different people, and that, of course, comes down to really understanding what is MLM. There's a lot of things online you're going to see about people talking about MLM being some kind of a pyramid scam or it's a Ponzi scheme, and I just realized that, in certain countries I've been to, people actually already understand what is the model of MLM, and it's an everyday thing in those countries. But in other countries, I find that, or actually in every country, there's still that population of people that just don't really quite get what's going on here. And, this video is for those people that perhaps are those people who don't quite understand what is network marketing, what is multi-level marketing, and they want to understand a lot more about it. Or perhaps this video is for those of you who might have run into somebody that gave you really weird objections about what you're doing, and you weren't really sure how to handle that. And I'm really putting my approach and my experience into addressing all of these different concerns. So quickly about myself too, I did come from the corporate world. So I studied computer science at U of T, University of Toronto, downtown here in Toronto. Graduated, of course, had many part-time jobs, was a programming tutor, worked at IBM for almost 18 months, worked at TELUS for about 5 years as a senior programmer. So I've been through the corporate world and I get all that. But of course, for me, I never actually had a big issue when it came to MLM when it was first showed to me by my sister. Perhaps it's because it was showed to me by my sister, and of course I have a lot of respect for her because she's a very smart girl. But I never really had an issue with MLM, and to me the whole concept actually made sense. Instead of a company that's going to hire an advertising and marketing firms or sales team to do the sales for them, just pay people to do the sales for them. So that for me, that simple, that's really what MLM is really encompassing. Is a company is not trying to have their own sales team. They're not going to hire a marketing company. They're going to pay people to do the marketing for them. So that concept to me from the very beginning just made sense. But again, there's a lot of things going on out there. People who maybe got involved in something like 10, 20, 30 years ago from grandma someone or mom someone, and or Uncle Bill, whatever, and somehow they translated that bad experience and kind of put a big umbrella on everything within MLM, which is actually not fair, and actually it's not even logical. So I'm really going to tackle this from a very logical point of view, being a programmer, because again, that's just how I think. So I have a list here I wrote down of some of the most common sort of issues when it comes to understanding what is MLM. And let me start by saying there is a clear difference between, of course, multi-level marketing and, of course, Ponzi schemes. Now, the best way to understand MLM is a business. It is 100% a business. There's everything you would do in a normal business. Guess what you have to do in MLM? The only difference is that in MLM, they removed a lot of the hard things that the average person couldn't do or don't have the experience to do. So one way of looking at this is, and the way that I saw this, is that network marketing or multi-level marketing, relationship marketing, direct selling, direct marketing, whatever you want to call it, it just gives the average person a chance to own a business. That's really all it is. And let's think about this, right? Because let's say you wanted to have your own business. What would you have to do to have your own business? Well, number one, you have to go and, incorporate the company. That costs a lot of money. You better have accountants. You better have lawyers. You better have documents, non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, MOUs. You do all this stuff here. You have to program a website or find developers. There's hosting fees, there's domain fees, there's graphic design, there's website designs, there's database. So there's so much things involved in trying to start your own traditional business or even e-commerce business that the average person just doesn't know how to do. And that's why most people don't have their own business. It's just too much work and too much expertise and knowledge that they might not have to start in the first place. And working back at IBM, one of the main products that I was part of the team was called WebSphere, and basically we're just selling websites to medium and large enterprise businesses. and it's not cheap. Again, I could be off here, but I recalled in some of my meetings that some of the websites base starting price is like 20 grand. So my whole point though about this is that most businesses, for the average person, they don't have the money to do it, the expertise, nor can they handle the risk that might happen if that business does not succeed. We're going to cover that a bit later on. So first point I want to make here in regards to network marketing MLM is that MLM really gives the average person a chance to finally have their own business. They don't have to become website designers, graphic designers, know how to do a database, how to take photos, upload photos, how to do payment services, how to do the courier shipping. All of that is done for you. And that's what really appealed to me the first time I saw a network marketing company, MLM company, because I realized, wow, I can actually do this part-time on the side and add some extra income. So the other big thing that I find holds a lot of people back is, again, there's that fear of what if you don't succeed? Can you afford to put all this money into the program, I mean, it's a lot of money you're investing, and have it and go sideways. But beyond that, majority of the people don't even have the money up front to go and do all this stuff. So again, I just find personally that network marketing, first key point that we have to say here is that MLM gives the average person a chance to finally have their own business. Now, one of the upsides and downsides, however, I will say this, is that because it's a lot easier to get into MLM, you know how there's always that saying that people say, well, most people who do MLM, they don't really succeed. Most people who do MLM, they fail. Excuse me, but how is that any different than people who do a normal business? One more time. Yeah, I always hear people complaining or saying, hey, my friend did it, he got in, he lost his money. Or he got in and he didn't even succeed. Or maybe if you're in network marketing, perhaps someone's talking to you and they're saying to you, well, how long have you been in the business for? And you're saying 1 year, 5 years, 6 years, 2 months, whatever it is. And they ask, well, how much have you made? And they're trying to imply that you're not even successful in your business. Very important here. What makes what we do in network marketing, MLM, any different than a normal business? And by the way, I actually, with my wife, we own 3 nail salons in Taiwan. So we understand, again, not just, my corporate world, but I also understand how it's like to try to own your own brick and mortar business. I also had a real estate investment company that I still have today. I had a catering company. So I've done many things in terms of, regular brick and mortar, but also, of course, in network marketing and corporate world. So I kind of have a good overall picture of how this all comes together. But again, the key thing is, MLM, it's a business. There's nothing different about MLM. It's only that it's easier to get involved. But sometimes what happens is people that find it easier to get involved in MLM, because there was not a huge startup cost, there's not much risk involved. There's a few issues here. One, they're not as motivated to go and work the business because there's no risk. I'm certain, and what I always tell people, when you start your network marketing business, treat it as if you put in all your life savings into the business, or treat it like you put in at least $1 million, $2 million into the business. How would you run that business? You would work your butt off. And so one of the biggest downfalls and benefits, so one of the good and bads about network marketing is it's actually easy to get involved. So it allows people to get involved. That's a good thing. But if it's too easy to get involved, do people take it seriously? That's again. But the issue is not MLM. In this scenario, the issue is the people themselves aren't taking it serious enough to go and do their business. So the other issue when it comes to people not succeeding is, again, the majority of the people that can now get into MLM or network marketing, they didn't have experience before, perhaps in running a business. For a lot of people, this is their first time doing a business. And I love what Robert Kiyosaki said when he's talking about the business of the 21st century, is that MLM, network marketing, is a great platform. It's a great building block for someone who actually wants to have their own business, because there's not that big risk involved or that big, investment that's required. Anyone can get started and treat it as a learning experience along their way. And so that again ties back into why just people might just fail, because it's just their first time doing MLM. It's their first time, which is a business. It's their first time being in business. And again, I always have to go back to this. Every time we say the word MLM, we have to think about it's a business. There's no difference. There's a lot more benefits that come with MLM, but MLM is a business. We can't say this is MLM and that's a business, because MLM is a business, right? So again, if people are not succeeding, number one is because they never had the experience in the first place. But had I taken those exact same people that got into MLM and didn't have experience and didn't succeed, and I put them in a regular business, would they succeed? No, it would be no different. So the one thing we always have to do is constantly, be fair in when we make comments about people within MLM, to make sure that we apply the same guidelines and expectancies within a normal business, and they would still be struggling. All right, so that's another point I want to make really quickly. And let's see here. So the other key thing, though, and I brought it up before, is if you have some people who are trying to question you about how long you've been involved, what's your success, blah 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 blah, and they're trying to imply as if you're not successful. Listen carefully to this. No matter how long you've been in network marketing, if you're still in it today, whether you're just basically making a little bit of money, making no money at all, or maybe you're making some decent incomes, but you're not a millionaire yet, or you're not replacing your income, and doesn't matter what you are. If someone's trying to imply upon you that you're not successful, my response would be, no, excuse me, I've done better than 90% of the people out there who try to start their own businesses. Because stats-wise, 90% of all new startups fail. Listen carefully, 90% of all startups fail. And when they fail, they have a huge, huge loss, because all their big investments are gone. They took big risks to have a traditional business, right? But 90% of all startups fail. So if you're still in your network marketing business today, if you're still in MLM today, whether you're making, I don't know, $100 a month, 1,000, 3,000, 10,000, well, not 10,000, because by then you're considered as successful, in terms of financial income per month. But even if you're making just a few bucks, or if you're not making any money at all, but you're still in it and you're still talking to people and you're still trying, you've actually done better than 90% of the other businesses out there, because 90% don't make it. And guess what though? They took a lot more of a hit than you did, because you had a smaller investment. And again, you're still getting products. So, and you still have the business running, your website's still running. So if anyone ever tries to come at you and imply that somehow you're not successful in what you do, let them know, no, excuse me, I've actually done better than 90% of the people out there who try to start up their own businesses. And I'm still kicking. I'm still running. I'm still working on it. How about you? How about you? Are you working towards your millions? So it's just so unfair, I find, that sometimes people try to separate, they're always trying to separate, MLM in a class of its own versus other people that have started a traditional business. And it's not fair, because MLM is a business, right? So that's one key thing that I had to get out there. Is again, that most people in network marketing have done better than 90% of the other people who have ever tried to start their own businesses. Nextly, one other key thing that is not really a complaint that you get, but it's something that I observed over the last 20 years of being in direct sales, is that in network marketing, MLM, it's the only industry that I can think of where the millionaires and the most successful people in the industry or in the companies, they want to help you create your own success. They're actually invested through the compensation plan that you have success. Now, this might not be in every company because, again, the compensation plan does dictate how your uplines or your business partners want to support you. But, for example, in my company where it pays to an infinity and the culture is really good in the company, but because it pays to infinity, everyone who's above you has vested interest in helping you succeed because it benefits them. So that being said, MLM is one of the very few industries where the top people in the industry, in the company, actually want to help you have your own success. That is so rare. And it's funny because, I've met so many people in my lifetime that have their own businesses, and these are people that I also respect. Some of them are relatives, and they have amazing businesses. They are millionaires in their own traits and their own successes. But here's a challenge. You know, I've even tried to approach some of these millionaires who are relatives, and I would have asked them, well, is there a way that somehow, you can teach me to do what you do, like coach me, guide me, train me like an MLM, and help me create my own millions? In other words, network marketing, we're always taking people under our wing, and we want to teach them, guide them, as long as they're self-motivated. Because we don't drag dead people through mud. We can't, we don't pull people through mud, right? But as long as they're motivated, we want to help them, train them, guide them, assist them, teach them to become the next millionaire because it benefits us. But in traditional businesses, that never happens. Most business owners, the biggest fear that I found in traditional business owners is they're scared to teach the next person, perhaps one of their apprentices, perhaps one of their employees, too much or to do too much because they might leave, start their own company, and now they have competition. That's what happens in regular businesses. One of the benefits in our marketing is that doesn't actually happen because the people that come on board, you want to help them have success because it benefits you. But in normal businesses, you don't want to help or you don't want to teach too much to the new person because they might eventually open their own business and now they become your competitors. So, there's so many things that people don't realize when it comes to MLM and all the benefits. And I had to be here today because I am living the dream life in MLM because of MLM. And it just, it creates a big fire in me when I hear people, getting beat up on this, or when I hear the most oddest comments. And I'm here to address all of these things here today. So hope you're enjoying this video. The other key thing though as well, kind of another observation that I see is some people, they like to brag about their rich friends. Ever have a conversation where the conversation is all about who do we know that has the biggest house, the biggest boats, has a basketball court, has an indoor swimming pool in their house. Like we're always trying to brag about these rich people as if we look up to them, as if we respect them, as if, they have this dream life. And I get that, but why? Have these people that you talk to, that you're talking about, ever tried to help you make your own millions? These wealthy people that that you might respect even, who knows, maybe they're even relatives of yours or friends of yours. When they started their business, did they ask you, hey, by the way, I'm starting this new business. Would you want to join me and partner with me and build this business because we might become millionaires? Have they ever done that for you? And this ties into another biggest sort of thing I see online about why MLM is bad, which is that in MLM, they teach you to go, and that's odd. That's odd. So first of all, only in network marketing do you ever have the opportunity of someone offering you a chance to make your own million. Meanwhile, all these rich people you talk about that are successful, they never offered you a chance to join them to make millions. Yet you respect them. Yet you talk highly about them. They didn't even give you a chance. Only in MLM do you ever have an opportunity that someone would ask you and invite you They're not making you do this. They're saying, hey, I have an opportunity. We might become financially well off or add a few extra income per month, but would you want to join me? At least they offered you that. They offered you an opportunity. Believe me, I know a lot of wealthy people out there, they never gave me a chance. They never offered me anything to be part of them. And some of them are relatives. And if I and when I have asked, you know what? It never worked out because a lot of issues. They probably think I'm going to take their business from them, blah 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 blah, right? But only in MLM, I love this. Do they actually give you a chance to join you? So of course, so if my sister got started in network marketing and she did not offer me to take a look, I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed off. Because at least she offered me an opportunity. It's up to me to decide yes or no. And of course, in network marketing, you want to talk to your friends and family because you love them the most. How would you feel if your friend or family became millionaires years down the road and they didn't tell you about how they did it, yet you could have been part of it? But that's the same thing that we're saying before. Right? You all know rich people who are wealthy. Their friends, maybe families, maybe relatives, but they never offered you a chance to build the wealth with them. Yeah, we have an issue in network marketing with friends and family talking to us. Again, it just makes no sense to me. So I really hope this is offering you a much more wider perspective on how things work here. And so again, I don't often talk so highly about other people. I usually just, in terms of other, I do respect other wealthy people, but I don't put it as long as you understand what I'm saying. Because a lot of us do always try to brag about our richest friends, but those richest friends never offered you an opportunity to make your riches together, right? Only in our industry of MLM does that actually happen. So again, there's a few more topics here that I want to cover, and so we'll do a quick coffee break and be right back.